Some nice wins. Now the Mosconi Cup. I kind of talked about Alex prior to this match, that he's won a couple close ones. Of course, none bigger than the one against SVB. But he just keeps plugging along, and once he settles in, I can't really see him as too much of an underdog against anyone, really, Phil.
Well, he's certainly been playing more pool than FSR, because he was sent to the one-loss side of the draw by a terrific Venezuelan player called Jesus Atencio. Lost that 9-4. That was his third match of the tournament. So then it was a reclamation project, and en route to being here, he's beaten the likes of Shane Van Boening, Thomas Kaplan, and most recently Mark Bijsterbosch. I thought the match against Van Boening was really illuminating. He was 5-0 up. He broke dry in the 6th rack. Everything turned against him. Van Boening went 8-7 up. And you think, well, okay, that's it. Because he just missed a very easy 2-ball. But he found something, dug deep, and eventually got the verdict.
Yeah, a lot of drama in that last game, breaking the balls. The 4-ball got in front of him with the 2 hanging. No shot clock at that part of the tournament. Took a little time to make his decision, but made a nice kick shot and got out. All right, draw stroke here, and this is one that can get away from you one way or another. Should make the ball, but he wants to come, you know, his side of the 9. Yeah, he's going to come towards the 4, so watch out. I told you this is one that could get away from you.
Ball stroke. Ball in.
All scratches hurt, but especially when they just topple into the pocket at what they call pocket weight.
Yeah, and you know, you could question a little bit of the decision coming short side on the 4. You know, maybe you just come out off the rail and cut the 4 in from some distance.
Extension call.
Just kind of wondered where his real object, or his, you know, really where he wanted to get with the cue ball there on the 4. You don't want to just kind of draw it back and see what happens. This is not the guy to get started.
In 2022, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has single-handedly disproved that old adage that nice guys don't finish first.
Yeah, he really played a heck of a match. Had a couple mistakes in the last match, but really overcame it. If you looked at the last match stats against Chang, 50% break and runs. I mean, that's pretty impressive, because you know what our break format has gone to, so it's not going to be easy starters after the break, most likely. And really, like all the players, you know, when confidence is high, that's when you play your best. But almost seems like FSR just wakes up confident every day, and after making that Mosconi midweek, all it could do is really help.
When a player scratches midway through a rack, far more often than not, it is costly. And it cost Alexander Kazakis the opening rack. First blood is drawn by Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. So the 2022 US Open is now in day 5, the penultimate day. It's been double elimination until the last 64, then no more safety nets. Single elimination from there. Throughout the tournament, winner breaks. I'm a big advocate of that. It's 9 on the spot with a break box, leading to so many more variables in a rack or pool. No shot clock. over the first 4 days. The going yesterday was somewhat slow. Not now, because a 30-second shot clock is in operation from the last 16 right through to the final. And each player has one 30-second extension should they wish to use it.
Well, a sound break off there and a great shot at the 2. Nasty little cluster around the 9.
.30 years old, Sanchez Ruiz from Murcia in Spain. And you know that old saying about it took him 10 years to become an overnight sensation. He was World Junior Champion in 2010. We all knew about his capabilities, but it's only in the last couple of years that he's really begun to shine consistently in the really big tournaments. And boy, what a breakout 18 months he's had. He won 3 European Tour events in very quick succession. This year, in partnership with his great pal, David Al-Qaedi, he won the World Cup of Pool for Spain. Proud moment that for both of them. And he also won the Nineball title at the Derby City Classic back in January. Whenever he plays, he's a major contender these days, Jeremy.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all know the talent he's had since, you know, a young man, World Junior Champion, and just shows you how difficult this game is, not only with all the, you know, opponents you have to face and champions you have to beat and whatnot, but just learning the game. It just takes a while. A lot of people in the stands and very knowledgeable, but a lot of people in just the regular world that play a little pool here and there don't realize, especially at this level, just how much there is to it. Now, touchy little shot here. Referee will be right on top of the hit. I don't think that's going to be a problem, but he's got to kind of hit it easy, I think, to hold for the 5. Now that's set up the rest of the rack. Feel he should come 2 rails out somewhat towards the center of the table. No reason to really draw the ball here. So this is top right English. Oh, he's going to draw it. He wants to be a little straighter.
Albin Auschen entitled to be cheering on Francisco Sanchez Ruiz here, because of course Alexander Kazakis could overtake Auschen in those automatic Mosconi Cup qualification spots. Mind you, I would find it hard to believe if he didn't make the automatic places that Albin Auschen was left out of the team. I would find that incomprehensible.
Yeah, he's been such a rock for them. I think really only 1 year he kind of struggled that I remember. And, you know, Albin, such the professional. He's out of the tournament, and he's just going to let the chips fall where they may. But you would think he would be top of the list for that wild card bid from Alex Laley.
Yeah, Jason Shaw also very much in that conversation. And the conversation in between racks here amongst this huge crowd. Well, the Spaniard off to a flyer. He leads 2-0.
Yeah, to be in quarterfinal is really excited because it's one of the biggest tournaments in the world. Especially it's my favorite tournament, US Open. So I'm really excited. Yeah, I finished 9th place last year, but I think this year I'm gonna be better. I try my best in the next round. Alex is one of the best players in the world. I had so many respect for him. Also, he's a good friend, so though I know it's going to be a tough match, but I try to enjoy.
Such a warm character. He's smiling all the time every time you see him off the table.
Thank you, rack 3.
He's beaming.
Francisco
He
Sanchez
loves his
Ruiz
life. He
break,
loves
leading 2
competing
racks
on
to
the
0.
international pool tour. And now he loves being a winner.
Yeah, hard guy not to pull for. Him and David. That World Cup team, not only the way they played, but just the energy they displayed also. All right. Very good timing on the break. A better spread. Another decent shot. Nothing easy. And this is really kind of like filler in a sense, where he's, I think, kind of separated himself at times to continue the run, to keep the momentum going, burying big shots. He's definitely going to attack here. He's just got to figure out what he wants to do with the cue ball, because the angle's heavy and he has to hold position on the 4. He can almost go with a top English and roll into the 8, but I don't think it's quite there. I wouldn't be surprised if he draws this ball back towards that end of the table where the 4's at, just to maybe give him some options, and it's a little friendlier way to pocket the 3. And unless he's going into the 8, a high ball doesn't really make sense too much. Oh, what a shot.
He's a poster boy for confidence. He's always had the ability. Now he's got self-belief to complement that.
Oh, yeah, there's an incredible amount of talent there. You can see that. And, of course, a vast experience playing the best players in the world and, you know, getting beat on, but taking it in. But the one thing I see with these guys, and this goes out to a lot of players, of course, is shots like that in big moments comes from your training, you know, your reps, putting all that time in to trust your swing in the biggest moments. He's going to be upset about that. I don't think he was trying to go around the 7. We'll see if he banks the 5 back down. Trying to use the 6 and the 9 as a snooker. At times, Francisco will cut this ball in, or attempt to. That's a nice shot. And one thing, especially in big moments, Bill, when you make a little bit of a mistake and you're on the, you know, on the 50, go offensive or defensive, you know, sometimes you kind of pull the trigger in frustration because you know, you messed up on the prior shot, but you got to be that coach and caddy as well.
Yes, and you've also got to feel the shot, haven't you? As you said, he might have taken that pot on in a different circumstance on a different day against a different opponent. But there he felt the safety was the correct thing to do, and right now it looks as though he might well be vindicated.
Yeah, Alex should hit this 2 rails from underneath. Nice hit. He's going to leave a bit more of a cut than the last shot, so we'll see. And you're so right, though. I tell people all the time, a lot of people think it's very cut and dry. This is the shot every time. Well, I think it's kind of like a true sport. Other sports, sometimes you get the feeling now's the time to bury this bank or cut this ball in, not roll out, take on the jump, whatever it is. Your gut instinct really has a lot to do with it. I don't think he got the snooker that time.
Let me quickly tell you, Max Lechner has taken the first rack from Chris Melling on table 1, the only other match in progress, of course.
Hit that with a lot of speed. A lot of speed. Now, it may end up working out just because if you notice, the 5 doesn't go to either one of the upper corners. You can see a little shake of the head. Normally, that type of kick shot, you're trying to lay that 5 down on that other top rail, short rail. So probably something similar here from FSR, kind of banking the 5 back down where he's standing. Maybe use the 8. Oh, he's just clipping it. So he didn't like much. That's considered kind of a soft safety.
Yeah, containment.
A lot of times at this level, though, when you do that, you kind of suspect or you're not very surprised if you come back with the worst of it. You're just hoping it's not devastating. I think he's going to like this just enough. Now he'll go for the jump shot. Now this is the type of jump shot, believe it or not, that's sometimes missed to the lower right, but the way the ball gets in the air, it kind of grabs the object ball a little bit, and sometimes you kind of fluke it, banking it right back where he's standing. The ball kind of twists a little bit. Good effort. Was always trying to hold the cue ball on the bottom rail. This is treacherous here.
One of the most drawn-out tactical exchanges we've seen all day.
You know what? Asked about the table earlier, and oh, maybe he can cut this in, actually. Watch out for the corner where he's standing. Maybe a kiss off the 9, something like that. Oh, he's playing safe. Wow, that's a nice touchy shot that he pulled off there, knowing the corner pocket was always going to be a little bit of a problem. And the comment, or the one thing that I thought the new felt, brand new felt going into our last 16, I think it really helped the break shot a little bit, getting a little better spreads, a little more consistency with the 1.
Last stroke, ball in hand.
Good hit, but where the cue ball finished,
Start the clock.
it means that Kazakis now really should break his duck.
Yeah, it's a demanding 5 balls, though, even with ball in hand. Just got to get on the 7. Not too much angle, but straight in's a little goofy getting on the 8. So he's going to draw into position off the 6 to come 1 rail across off the 6 to get on the 7. Should draw up. I don't know about that shot. And that's a sign of nerves when the tip comes up like that and you didn't really draw the ball.
And every pool fan knows that over the years, Kazakis, on the big occasion, has been prone to nervousness.
And he's not alone there, but out of the top guys, he's one of them you'd pick out that nerves have gotten the best of him a few times. But okay, he's going to draw into position. But definitely that first ball in hand shot. And he'll recognize that Alex, very conscious player, so. Key to this shot is don't baby it too much.
It was a 9-ball down the length of the side rail that Kazakis knocked in to deny Shane Van Boning. The 7 safely deposited.
Well, that, to me, is a little sign of nerves as well. You could have just went forward and taken a little cut shot in the side. You know, when your nerves are high, the cut shot in the side is something you're trying to stay away from. So drawing the ball back there, trying to get for that corner pocket. Not saying it's a problem, but just keep an eye on it. Yeah, lucky that one fell.
Alex Kazakis wins
I
the
am
match.
absolutely astounded it went in, and so is as this is a massive occasion for these two. And I think the 9-ball in the previous rack only went in because it's fresh felt.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. That 9 was, and talk about the 9. Wants the 2 to slow down. It could be an easy, quick win to tie our match. So sometimes that kiss is nice on the 9-ball, and sometimes it cost you ball in hand, giving up the cue ball sometimes in the side or the corner. We'll get a look at that 2-ball here in a moment. I think there's a little bit of a cut on it, but not much. Yeah, it's actually pretty straight in. Did he get any angle here? Because remember, he drew the ball on the 9-ball last time to avoid a thin cut in the side on the 9. So now he's going to draw the ball, trying to get at that 4-9 combo.
Again, the 9 wasn't the cleanest, was it? It jangled around in the jaws, but it dropped, and Alexander Kazakis is back on level terms. Quick kill in rack 4. It is 2-2. Caught that 9 really thick.
Really kind of shocked he shot it that hard. You know, if you shoot it like a medium, it's really hard to miss because it's going to double kiss in, kind of like it did there. Actually, shooting it hard, it could jar up, and if the 4 gets away from the 9, well, FSR's at the table. So I think still a little nerves inside of Kazakis. We'll see if the break shot can help him get settled.
He's run to this stage. He's had some very good wins, some tough matches as well. He's come through. He's battle hardened.
Alex Kazakis to break. 2 racks each.
Yeah, I didn't hear one down. The 3 going to get in the way here. It looks like it. So a dry break, our first of the match.
And although dry breaks have been popping up regularly during the course of the first 4 days here, today, dry breaks on this table are a rarity.
Yeah, this is going to be a tactical game, obviously, with a push out, and you can't really push out too many great places. It's going to be some type of kick shot, a soft kick shot on the 1, probably another return soft kick shot when you have a group of balls down there.
Push out call.
And they're going to get clustered up here in a few shots. This could be one of our longer games of, well, it will be our longest game of this match, but maybe one of the longer games of the tournament, believe it or not. He's rolled out to where he can see a piece of it, but it's not really a bankable ball. You can't avoid the double kiss on the cue ball. So I don't think Alex will be fooled in that regard. Surprised he's given up the kick here. I think FSR is going to go to the bottom rail with the cue ball and just try and bump the 1 up past the 3. I really don't think he can avoid a kiss here with the cue ball trying to bank it. Now, the one thing Alex is thinking is even if he snookers me, he's going to leave me a pretty easy kick shot in return. Or even better. So good choice there from Alex, but I kind of expected FSR to execute there. It got away from him a little bit. He took a real chance at knocking another ball in there. He hit that with some speed. And the 1 was never going to move very far, so I was kind of surprised he took that little chance. If that 6 flukes in the side, he's in trouble.
Yeah, because his next ball would have been obscured.
Looks like he's got action on a couple balls here, the 1 or the 8. There's a 2-rail escape. But with the 4 being there, if he can get to the bottom rail with the cue ball with a lot of spin and maybe get into that 1, he's got a big pocket now. The 6 has got him really snookered here, so it's probably the 2-rail escape.
Extension called.
He's looking at that spin shot I was talking about. So if he goes 2 rails, it'll be between the 2-9 off the side cushion. He's trying to come underneath this, knock the 1 up table. Watch out for the cue ball sliding across towards the 3. Oh, he hit it dead perfect.
And by doing that, he's achieved almost maximum distance between cue ball and object ball. Still early days in this race to 10. But you get the feeling, even though it's level board, Sanchez Ruiz is feeling a lot more comfortable than his opponent.
Well, he never hardly shows
Extension
any discomfort, it seems. But yeah, I totally agree with that. Of course, Alex had to play well in his last match, but it wasn't on the main table. Kind of sticky situation here. I might take a chance coming off the left side of the 1. He's looking at the right side of the 1, trying to go into the 7 with the cue ball. Problem with this shot, a lot of times you don't knock the 1 up table far enough. Oh, he's not trying to move it far anyways. He's just trying to get a snooker. Not bad. Well, that tells me maybe he can see it. If not, he'll jump at this. Oh, he's going for the bank. Now, one thing that I've seen with FSR today that I'm not used to seeing as much is he's gotten to that last 5 seconds on the shot clock quite a few times, not only in this match a couple times already, but in the last. You don't want to be pulling the trigger when those beeps are going off.
Yeah, the beep starts at 5 seconds remaining. The panic zone.
Yeah, you better hope he gets the snooker. This 1 came open a bit, and there's a gap maybe. It's close. Oh, no, that's open for sure. And he's got a nice angle to track the cue ball to the backside of the 2. Looking to pull the cue ball a couple rails and drift down between the 9 and 2, I believe. That's going to bump the 2. Maybe set up a combination that's not too bad. Now, I could play this a couple ways. He could play to the rail and then off the back of the pink 4 and slide the 2, and I still like the combo myself. Now he's looking at that first shot. And the slick conditions really make this shot more playable, where you're not so worried. I still personally like the combination.
Didn't matter that he nudged the 4 across, because he's now on the 3 and getting position on the 4. He's okay from there.
I can come 1 rail and take the angle. I can draw underneath him. Going to the rail. I like that. Don't take any chances. lot of players would go ahead and maintain the angle on the 7 and move a couple rails. I don't think he's too ideal to get straight on the 7 anyways. Yeah, so this should just be a little bit of a zigzag back and forth with the cue ball. A little bit of low English. A big shot to get comfortable with playing pool here. Comes up so much.
That was impressive from Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, employing both facets of the game. Tactical, and then when he needed to attack and pot the balls, he was more than capable of doing so. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz back in front against Alexander Kazakis at 3-2. I'll tell you what, during the course of this tournament, he's had some battles as the Spaniard in his second match against Jiri Virtaranta from Finland. He won 9-8. He was 7-5 down. Virtaranta missed the 8-ball, miscued on it to go 8-5 up to reach the hill. And Sanchez Ruiz came back to win it. And there you can see in the last 32, it was also hill-hill against Wu Kunlin from Chinese Taipei.
6.
Just about survived there.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz to break, leading 3 racks to 2.
And Jeremy, that's what happens when winning becomes a habit. You get those tight ones under the belt.
Yeah, you sure do, Phil. And you get shots after the break. Of course, he's hitting the break really well. One dry break. But look at the spreads, and that's all timing. That's not really power. That's good timing, creating the power, of course, but there's a connection on this type of break. Of course, the guy's trying to make the 1, but you'll notice some guys make the 1. They still have clusters, kind of ugly layouts. But I think when you're hitting them your best, the ball's still open nicely.
Some daylight appearing on table 1 between the two players. Max Lechner now 4-1 up on Chris Melling.
Yeah, there's so many big names to talk about, you know, with some of these huge titles, some without. Max Lechner, a guy that we haven't talked about a lot all week, but we have talked about him quite a bit through the year. He's been right at the front door of some of these titles. Just got to get through it, right? Okay, I think he's staying aggressive here. I think he may just be laying the 3 on the side rail. Cue ball up on the other side rail. Does he have a piece of this? Well, that's a bit of a little error here. Just trying to get the cue ball back in the same place. Needs a thin hit with a hair left English. And that looks good. Probably goes to the jump cue here, maybe. I mean, you know, there's a 2-rail escape that's not hard for FSR, of course, but if he goes to the jump cue, I think the bank is on, shape is there. The 5's a little messy.
Extension call.
But do you fancy your chances maybe burying the bank? Could get lucky with the jump as well. I like the jump, even though I'm a guy that tends to kick at the ball a little more. I think percentages say go to the short cue and try and bury this bank.
Jeremy Jones advised. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz delivered.
Yeah, the way he's played, it'd be like coaching the Yankees right now, I think. But it's just been all quality. He's going to draw this behind the 5. He may get to where he can run out. He may get a real jam-up safety here. Just depends on the angle because the 9's a big ball. And you see he's playing the safety. No question.
Welded the cue ball in behind the 9.
Okay, with the 6 there, he's got to come to the bottom rail. He's jacked up anyways, right? But I like the soft kick 2 rails at the 5. With the 6 there, there's all kinds of good things that can happen. And we always talk about the lighter speed. You probably keep your accuracy, especially being elevated over the 9. All ball fouls, so anything moves, it'll be ball in hand. And we know how the new felt bends and arcs a little bit when you put a little speed. So, like I said, I think a number of things add up to kicking, you know, not super soft, but pretty mild. Needs to hit maybe a diamond before the side. Yeah, just like that. With that other 6 there, there's too many good things that can happen, and what a shot.
Well, skill and a goodly portion of luck was involved there, as you can see from the smiles of both players. What an out.
Yeah, but percentages increase that luck, Phil. And he kind of knew that maybe it was just buying a little time, and all the players so good with the short cue.
So he's jumped to a bank. Now he jumps one in straightforwardly.
And you talked about him, you know, how talented he's been and such a great young player. But, you know, knowing when to pull the trigger and all that stuff adds up into becoming a champion. And it just does take some time, but it sure is sweet once it hits home.
No, he didn't expect that. He didn't expect that.
No, a little bit of stay down decent on the ball. Probably expected that to go, to be honest with you, the way the table's played today, but it's going to be limited errors, you suspect, from FSR, so Kazakis is going to have to not only get out here, I think he's got to put a few together.
If you're thinking, well, hold on a minute, that miss 7 from Sanchez Ruiz was closer to the pocket than Kazakis' 9 ball to win the 3rd rack. You're right, it was.
3 racks each.
You might have heard Brendan Moore, the referee there, announcing the start of rack 7 in the main arena. Kazakis and Sanchez Ruiz are locked together.
Yeah, not in love with the way he hit him overall. You can see a little gesture afterwards. Does have a long shot on the one. I think it is playable. Could be wrong. Yeah, he's open here on the one. He doesn't see much future getting on the 3, but you know, you kind of feel like he's still got to shoot at this, come down. Maybe play a safety on the 3, something like that. You don't want to play a so-so safety here on the 1 and then let FSR make a nice kick shot on you, something like that. I think you got to try and go for this one and do something on the 3. It does have some options. It looks like now he's banking the 1 away and trying to hold behind the 6-7. I don't know why he'd be queuing downward otherwise.
Looking there with great interest to see whether he's left a possible gap.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't really see a safety that was going to be great. Never one that was going to give you ball in hand. I think he's left him an actual shot. I'll tell you what, the 3 goes by the 9 in the upper corner. So I think he's laying pretty decent to get into that position. May have to swerve this a touch with right English, but it kind of makes sense for the shot anyways, as far as getting position. Oh, what a shot. And I think just a little bit of a mental error. Of course, getting the snooker makes a huge difference for Kazakis, but I think he kind of knew he needed to shoot the 1 and come down for the 3, but then last second decided on a safety.
It seems to me to be the vital difference between these two, not just in this match, but generally. When it gets to the business end of tournaments, sometimes Kazakis second guesses himself, whereas in the last couple of years, Sanchez Ruiz feels totally at home and believes entirely in his own abilities.
Okay. I was a little worried about that one at first, but I totally agree. You know, you try to figure out what's the positives that makes players play so well, and you know, try and put that a little in your game as much as you can, but then the same thing with the negatives. Try and figure out what holds them back at times. Definitely doubt. That's the biggest one in this game, a pool anyways. Interesting shot. I thought he would play behind the ball one way or another, but I think you got to shoot this in the corner. Looks like to me center of the table's perfect to just draw off the 7 for the 8. Yeah, that's about right.
what an eye-catching rack.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz wins.
Kazakis is tenacious, but he can't get in front. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz led 2-0, he led 3-2, and now he's back in the ascendancy at 4-3. Tell you what though, we must never underestimate Alexander Kazakis. He's got a pretty good career CV. He won the European 10-ball championship in 2015, the Kremlin Cup, undefeated in Moscow, Russia in 2016. And he's a bubbly character who's always got a smile on his face.
It feels great, really. It's my first time, I think, I'm going to the quarterfinals of the US Open. And I'm feeling really happy about my game and really excited to play my next match. When you're thinking, oh, I'm so close, at the same time you're really far because you have 3 more matches. I've been here many times and I lost big tournaments. And you know, as close as it seems, it's also very far. Francisco these years, he's on fire, really. He's winning almost everything, and for sure it's going to be an exciting and a tough match. Good luck, Coronel.
Yeah, he's won a Euro Tour event as well in 2018. Whirlpool Masters last year in Gibraltar, when remarkably he whitewashed Shane Van Boening 9-0 in the final. The only whitewash ever recorded in the climax of that fine event. And he won a big tournament, lucrative event in Wisconsin this year. So Alexander Kazakis, you can never write off his chances.
Oh yeah, and he's stubborn, I'll tell you that as well. You talked about that Kremlin Cup. I think he finished second in the Kremlin Cup like 3 times before winning it. You know, the Whirlpool Masters, that second place loss to David Alcady, and then came back strong. So he's just got a lot of will. Of course, you got to get some opportunities, and he should get one here of some sort.
Don't think I'm being too harsh here to say that even though he's behind, Kazakis has had quite a few rubs for me. And conversely, there, Sanchez Ruiz has been a little unfortunate. 1 and 2 in, but denied a clear shot on the 3.
Yeah, and the 8's really keeping him from a very doable safety. He can't play off the only side of the ball he can see and really run the cue ball, doesn't appear. He's got to draw this now. Is he going to lose the 3 ball doing this shot here? This is difficult. Yeah, a lot of control needed. Whew, that's sweet there. And just that shot alone shows you how comfortable he is out there, and that a lot of players would stay away from that kind of shot because it can get away from you so easily. The problem here is the 2-rail hit on the 3, not that hard, but the 8's really kind of keeping him from getting separation on the 3 or the 8. So it's probably going to be maybe a softer kick because of that, or maybe just try to make the ball 2 rails.
And because of the complexity that you've outlined, Jeremy, it's hardly surprising he's taken his extension here. A situation tailor-made for an extension.
Yeah, I think it may be a little lighter on the kick than we suspect. He got underneath it. That was nice. It was hard to do. He's going to surrender a shot, but nothing easy. All things considered, he's got to be fairly happy with that outcome.
Yes, and the most obvious mistake FSR has made in this match thus far would be that missed 7-ball from distance.
Extension called.
Again, this is a pot that requires good cueing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to work the cue ball too much, but definitely a more difficult make on the 3 than that miss on the 7 earlier. So, and now looking at the 4, he may actually have to put a little steam into this with a high ball to go to the top rail and then back above for the 4. Kind of one of his bread and butter shots, though. The full hit with top English. Oof. What a roll.
Now that was the old Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. The shoulder visibly came into the shot.
Yeah. Didn't have his paws at the cue ball like normal, and another former player like myself talked about that a little bit. We sometimes see a little movement still from FSR. I think that shoulder has a lot to do with it. He was trying to cut that ball in, I'm pretty sure. So no love for Alex at the moment.
No great love for Chris Melling. He's just gone 6-3 down to Max Lechner. Lechner more than halfway there now to a place in the semi-finals against either Koping Chung or Eklund Kachi.
I got that thick. So this is the type of shot you can catch that right knuckle on the pocket and bobble this ball. It's got to get a little something into the cue ball. So miss on the 3, not the cleanest hit on the 3 right there to get position on the 4, but nice recovery.
And after those 2 previous misses, that was important to knock that one in.
Well, you know, when things are lining up to where it should be your day or your match because of one reason or another, of course, great play is involved, but got to take advantage of those little bitty rolls here and there. Luck in all these sports, and pool's definitely one of them.
For the second time in the match, FSR is about to take a 2-rack lead. It was
Sanchez Ruiz wins the rack.
2-0. Now it's 5-3. So this is table 1 action. Max Lechner, I told you he was 6-3 up against Chris Melling. Well, he's got a wonderful chance to make it 7-3. The way Melling played against Lee Van Cortese early on, I thought he got a wonderful chance in this contest. But Lechner likes this break format, Jeremy. He's done well in the International Open in the past in Virginia, and now he's performing extremely well here.
Yeah, he's made a little noise in some previous tournaments, big events this year. Talked about on several occasions, you know, one of those guys right there on the edge of the Mosconi Cup for Team Europe, and a great player from Austria. Now, surprisingly, was Albin Ocean's partner in the World Cup after Mario He and Albin having so much success. So that tells you about Max Lechner's game if you don't know anything else about it. But one thing I was thinking about that match, that I was thinking Chris Melling would have loved to come back to this TV table the way he broke the balls and everything else. Now he's back on one of the other tables. Probably shouldn't affect him, but maybe a little bit.
Look at the balls potted. Over 3 times as many potted by FSR than his opponent, and yet he's only a couple of racks ahead.
Yeah, one early combination on the 4-9, a missed 7 ball, which he's cueing over here, by the way. It's hard to even tell the 7's hanging. So deep in that corner pocket. He rarely passes on these shots, and I don't blame him here, what he's doing. He's saying, I'm looking forward to knocking this ball in. What about you, Alex Kazakis? Smart to take away the ball he's cueing over. Still a very difficult shot, but Alex has got to go from here, I think.
There we are with a unique view looking through the the
3 sets
Barry
of 30
Berman
seconds.
Trophy, named after the founder of this US Open, an event that began in 1976. Much more humbly it was put on back then than it is now. A major international sporting occasion that's coming to a climax tomorrow.
Yeah. Now I
Extension
wonder
ball.
if he entertains the 9-ball at all here. Like, if you cut this ball with a little right English, you may swing the 9 towards that opposite side pocket. I think he wants to just use the 9 to contain the cue ball of some sort, kind of slow it down a little bit. But don't think the 9 doesn't have a little bit of a chance here. You wouldn't want to really pocket the ball with right English, though, on this shot. It's more of just straight, maybe even a hair left. Hit it way thin. Ooh, almost fluked the 9. Still got up off the shot pretty quick.
The decision of Kazakis now turns out to be absolutely spot on.
Yeah, and he knows his opponent as well as anyone. Maybe David Alcady, I guess, a little more, but I just see the guys that win the tournaments, they really take it on their own, you know, a little bit more. I'm pretty fortunate to escape there. That was a pretty routine position shot. Almost got away from him. But it wouldn't have shocked me, you know, if Ruiz buries that 2-ball there, so. Lots more going on in this rack than it appears. The 5 really only goes to the right side pocket. The 6 is in a funny spot only because of the way the 5, you know, kind of sits. The 9's in the way, so if he gets funny on the 5 near the rail, the 9 could really keep him from getting position on the 6. So a lot going on.
Extension call.
In the background, Max Lechner at the table. He did take a 7-3 lead, and he's potting balls again.
I don't know if that's good or not. He doesn't seem too unhappy. He's got to cut this a bit. The 9 could be a problem. It appears he got nice and straight.
Sanchez Ruiz threw down the gauntlet. It backfired. Quite a
Alex
contest
Kazakis wins the
in
rack.
this quarter-final of the US Open. Alexander Kazakis trailing by only 1 at 5-4. It is fall in the USA, but the game of 9-ball is very much on the rise. Quarter-final session in the US Open taking place right now. Sanchez Ruiz 5-4 up on Alexander Kazakis. Max Lechner tightening his grip against Chris Melling at 8-3. 2 more quarter-finals to come, and of course, the final of the Shane Van Boening Junior Open, where Khalid Al-Ghamdi of Saudi Arabia will take on Trenton White from Florida. So stars of the present and stars of the future on the same stage here at Harrah's Resort and Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Thank you. Rack 10, Alex Kazakis to break, trailing by 5 racks to 4.
Can Kazakis get back onto level terms as he did at 2-2 and 3-3? Well, that 7-ball was rather rude.
Yeah, very his best break off of the match by far. You could see kind of having a talk with himself. Wasn't happy with his last break off. Got it more like he wants it, but the 7-ball just wasn't listening here. And man, what a tough push out. 2's open, the 3's open. You know, you can't really push out to a shot to where you can't get shape. So it's got to be some type of jump, I would think.
Nine 3 now, Max Lechner over Chris Melling. Max on the hill.
Reset to 30 seconds, please.
FSR passing back the rollout. Difficult jump shot, of course, there's distance. He's a little worried about, though, if you do make it, is the 6 going to get into play and snooker him on the 3, so. Yeah, maybe a few rolls changing. Saw FSR with a couple of them early. That jump shot there kind of tells me still the nerves flowing.
Extension call.
I think most of the great jumpers would tell you that he probably overhit a little bit, so that's still just a sign of nerves.
Well, look at that stat. From distance, FSR has potted 7 balls. Kazakis still waiting for his first. Oh, that was a big shot, wasn't it? And he's not been quite so lucky.
No, a couple long shots, excuse me, that Alex had. A 1-ball, remember that? He elected to play safe. He could have with the 3-9 a little jammed up. So a couple of the long ones he hasn't taken on. This is probably his first. Oh, man, you could see a little crunch with the knees. Kind of squeezing that one home.
In snooker, when a ball goes in like that, off various jaws, we say the ball wiped its feet.
Yeah, that was a popular saying from the late and great Grady Matthews when he did commentary, which he was very good at, in my opinion. Yeah, and I'm just, is that tentative? I mean, you're not wanting to play a 5-7 combo, excuse me, when you have some open pockets for the 5, so just hasn't got a hold of it just yet.
Extension called.
And I think it's fair to say still, I mean, we kind of figured it with these two, a little contrast, right? But you could see Alex still playing with a bit of worry. He's in a great spot.
Using every millimeter of the pocket.
Yeah, you know, those balls are on the outer table. Probably by tomorrow on this table, those balls aren't falling. So getting a little reward from the new cloth. New cloth, though, also has its disadvantages, Phil, for the players. You know, it doesn't grip the English on the rail as much. Of course, the bed's nice and fast, so you have to pay attention to that. Does make the pocket a little more friendly. Even there, he's trying to come for the side, so again, not in full control of the swing. Speed's been off on a few shots, but guess what? It's about to be 5-5, and Alex hadn't even played his best.
Alex Kazakis.
Couldn't agree more. Nowhere near his best, and yet he's still very much in this. So 3 matches in our first session today. All of them were quite decisive victories. 2 of them very decisive. This, though, is a humdinger. 10 racks played, and they've been shared. Now, talking about runaways, Chris Melling has to win the last 6 racks to salvage victory here against Max Lechner. At least in rack 14, he's got an opportunity.
Yeah, he was kind of shaking his head, and it looked like he's like ideal here on the 2. He didn't put any English on the ball. He just put flat draw. I thought he would have a little left there. Now he's going to have to make a splendid kick shot to remain in this event.
Now, if you want to watch this match until its conclusion, and indeed the next match on table 1, Ko Ping Chung and Eklund Kachi, you can see it on the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel. And that's been the case all week. Some great stuff on the outside tables that viewers have been able to access.
That's close. So close and such a doable shot. He may pull out the jump cue if he is snookered here, because it's not in full ball, that's for sure. Now the problem is the 3-6 is tied up. Now if he can see this, I think he has a great angle to go into those balls, actually. We'll get another look in just a moment, but he wants to just come across the 6. Cue ball might end up on top of the 5 a little bit, but that's okay. And that was just part of it. Now he pushed the 5 into a very touchy position. But the good thing is he has a little angle. I would look at this now. I wouldn't get no hurry. I don't know. Yeah, you want to follow this ball and get between the 9-7. Even if you're on the bottom rail, that's the angle for the 4 on the side to get easily onto the 5.
Extension called.
So I know the 5's ugly, but the 6 is near. Like I said, I think he can get somewhat to the middle of the end rail, and that's where I would like to get. He's going to try and draw the ball here, and
He's sitting on the table, yes, but 1 foot has to be on the floor.
Oh, that was pretty nice. He's going to have to play a 3-rail position to the short side on the 5. With the 6 being there, I don't think I would flirt trying to get too close to that 5. You may rub the 6 coming by and snooker yourself.
Over on table 1, Max Lechner 2, it would appear, simple pots away from victory over Chris Melling. British interest in the US Open is about to be extinguished. (10-4) over and out. Max Lechner reaches the last 4. It's Chris Melling who goes home. Lechner now awaits either Eklund Kachi or Ko Ping Chung.
He just needs to draw this back about 2 feet, maybe 2.5, 3 feet. Don't think he's had a lead in this match yet. Is that correct, Phil?
It is. Always trailing or on level terms. Can he poke his nose in front?
See there just a half a tip of right English, and now very routine 9-ball for the first lead and crossing that halfway point.
Alex Kazakis wins the rack.
Very good indeed. He's got that certain stickability, Alexander Kazakis. And he's had a very good year, you know. He won a tournament in Louisiana. I told you about the one in Wisconsin. In Premier League Pool, Matchroom's first big event of the year, he finished 6th in a very good field. Remember the World Pool Championship, semi-finalist there. And now he's at the front in his US Open quarter-final against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. This is a reminder of just how it stacks up. The first player into the semi-finals, into the Fab Four, is Maximilian Lechner from Austria. Chris Melling will be disappointed with that outcome. He had high hopes. So Lechner now plays Ko Ping Chung or Eklund Kachi. Chi Chia Chen or defending champion Carlo Biardo will take on Kazakis or Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
Oh, I'll tell you what, definitely the new felt has helped the break shot overall today. Guys are playing the 1, they're tuned in there, but other balls are falling. 3 down on this break. It's not, you know, you always want an offensive shot, but this still, he should be able to plant the cue ball behind the 7 nicely here. Now the 3's going to end up near the 9-ish, so watch out for some type of kick shot that gets the 9 moving. Oh, he's cut off that kick, but he may be a little shy. We'll see. No, he's got him cut off nicely. So really only one way to go at this if you're FSR. Kind of the same path the 3 took, to the bottom cushion and up underneath it.
Extension called.
At times in his win over Mark Bosch de Bosch in the last 16, Kazakis played some good pool. He broke and ran 4 racks. Looked shaky, I thought, at times early in the match, but now, what an opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, he's going to put some speed on this. This won't be rolled. Watch out for the scratch cross side. That happens a lot. Wow, he missed this. That I didn't expect.
Ball in hand.
Now Kazakis. Pretty easy combination on the 9,
Start
but
the clock, please.
most of the guys will pass on this combination because there is a hair of doubt there. Even though it does lay nice,
quiet
but
down a bit,
pretty
please. Thank
easy
you.
5-ball run or 6-ball run to extend that lead.
We have seen kicking inaccuracy today. It was the hallmark of Lee Van Cortez's defeat by Chris Melling in the last 16. The Filipino, normally brilliant at escaping hooks, missed 3 of them.
Yeah, I didn't expect FSR to miss that kick. We all miss them sometimes or another, but him and David both very solid that part of the game. And really, this generation doesn't get enough credit for that part of the game just because the jump cue's used so much. It's almost like they just assume the guys don't know how to kick at the ball, and that's not the case. Okay, we'll see where he gets on the 7. Okay, I wouldn't have wanted the straightest shot myself. I would have much rather had an angle. Still think he's not quite in control when he has to lean on the extremes, whether that be a little more speed or the lighter ones.
Alex Kazakis.
Durability from Alexander Kazakis. He was 5-3 down, but he's won 4 consecutive racks and now leads
Thank you, rack 13. Alex Kazakis to break, leading 7 racks to 5.
I kind of expect him to come away with a shot and a good one. I think he's figured the break out. Yeah, Alex is almost sweating it too much. You know what I mean? Like he's looking at every ball moving, and you can't control everything. You got a nice shot at the 2. I think you can got a couple rail position to the 3. Maybe it's short side position on the 3, but that's okay. You know, everything plays. The 4's a little tied up, but it does play a combination, I think, into the 5, into the side. So. He's got to use a lot of side here, not only to help make the ball a little bit, but mainly for cue ball position. Is that going to hit the 8? Okay, he got by the 8. He can definitely kill the cue ball. I'm kind of guessing, I guess the 4-5 isn't lined up that great.
Goal.
I mean, it looks pretty good to me on the screen. And, you know, as long as you're not cutting it too much, you can really hold the cue ball. Oh, he's going into him. So watch out for the 6, maybe getting over the 6, something like that. Could be a problem, but I thought this too. Yeah, I didn't. Did he ever look at the 4-5 combo? Phil, it sure looked playable to me.
But I think what you said at the start when he broke off was the most relevant thing. He still looks edgy. Very edgy.
Yeah, he knew the 2 he was shooting, and he was looking at every ball, and they're not going to lay easy. You can't expect easy to try and win the U.S. Open title. Maybe just for him, just remind himself how great he is. I mean, shouldn't sweat it so much. It's still a game we play, right?
He's won his share of silverware, as I told you before, but Alexander Kazakis, best known for what happened in the 2019 World Masters final against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz's compadre, best buddy, David Al-Kaidi. Kazakis led 5-0 and 8-5, lost 9-8, having blown his chance and eventually seen David Al-Kaidi length of the table double on the decisive 9-ball. And defeats like that aren't easily forgotten by either crowd or the player concerned.
Yeah, the WWW, that doesn't help some of those situations either, but yeah, very surprised, and you could see it in his face now. That was a little rushed and hit awfully thick. So Ruiz a lot of times reminds me of Skylar Woodward sometimes, like when he, you know, he's ending a match, he'll really turn up the speed a little bit, get to moving around, and it's almost like he's just finishing off the pounce, right? But long ways from the finish here.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
FSR was good early on, then it started to unravel. He badly needed that rack, and he gets it as a result of a self-imposed snooker. The score is now 7-6. And what a match we've got on our hands. Now, Max Lechner is already through. He's beaten Chris Melling 10-4, and you can imagine his reaction.
Max Lechner, congratulations, 10-4 over Chris Melling, the first player through to the semi-finals. Assess your performance.
Well, first of all, it's the biggest relief I feel in my life, I guess, after messing up multiple quarterfinals in the past. This time, I beat the demons in my head and went through.
Yeah, I remember actually. I think it was like middle of the season. You were talking to me and you said, "Oh, I can't get past the quarterfinals." I was going to say last year you got to the quarterfinals, so obviously you must be delighted to get to the semis.
Yeah, definitely. I played really good with Chris. I had a few rolls, which is always important, of course. And yeah, Chris is a great player, so you need a few rolls to beat him.
You got to the final of the International Open with the same break rule. You like this break rule?
Yes, definitely.
Up next, Ko Pin-chung or Katje. Do you have a preference which one you want to play?
Katje beat me big time twice, and I beat Ko Pin-chung in the only match we had. But yeah, obviously I don't care.
Max, congratulations, you're the first player through to the semis. Good luck in your semi-final. 2 more matches. What would it feel like to win the US Open?
I guess I'd kick out Albin from his Mosconi spot, so would be yeah, of course, a great feeling. And to win the US Open, yeah, of course, it's, I think, every pool player's dream. So yeah, it would mean the world to me, of course.
Well, good luck tomorrow, and I hope you kick Albin out.
Yeah, me too. Thanks.
Max Lechner speaking in his second language very articulately. If he plays as well as he speaks, we might want to give him the trophy now.
Well, like he said, he's been to many quarterfinals, which is, you can make it to the quarters, you know, that's really the spot that you put yourself in to realistically win the tournament. Only got to win a few matches from there, but back to this business here, and Alex has got to take advantage. You know, Alex has been up against it after the break for the most part in this match, had a nice chance in the last to extend to a 3-game lead, and no surprise to me that he's getting penalized for that mistake.
I might be proved incorrect here, but it seems to me as though Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is playing to win and Kazakis is playing not to lose.
Yeah, to an extent. It's almost like it builds during the match. Like I saw him, you know, nervous at the beginning, and that's to be expected. I'm usually nervous at the beginning, but it's almost like even though he gained a couple-game lead, it was almost like he was more nervous and more not wanting to lose than trying to just snatch it away.
This one started out as the best of 19, a race to 10. Now it is the best of 5. From here, a race to 3. But of course, although they are locked together on the scoreboard, Sanchez Ruiz has the advantage of breaking off in the forthcoming 15th rack. Alexander Kazakis has got to get that sometimes elusive asset, self-belief, because he's good enough to win this, he's good enough to win any match. This is the prize money breakdown, and if you were to become US Open champion, you could create your own boardwalk empire here at Atlantic City with that $50,000 US first prize. The runner-up receives $25,000. And of course, if Francisco Sanchez Ruiz were to be crowned champion, he'd also leave here #1 in the Nineball rankings.
I don't know if the 2's going to come open or not. It's very, very close. Yeah, I think he can see some of the blue too, but the corner pocket has got him cut off where he can't play off the left side of the 2 ball. It near the pocket as well. You're not going to roll out to some type of realistic jump shot. So it's almost got to be some type of kick.
Push out call.
And what he's rolling out to here. Okay, he wants the snooker, of course. I don't know, though. I think he wanted to hit the side rail and come across the 2 where the cue ball ends up behind the 7 and the 2 ends up the side rail, but he made the mistake of letting the cue ball drift forward a little bit, and I'll explain more of that in a moment. I don't think it sits right anymore. I think he's going to double kiss this. I think he's got to pass this shot the way the cue ball lays. If you watched the rollout, or if you were watching the rollout, he was trying to contact that 3 balls and stone dead with the cue ball. And now the side pocket's in the way of really where he needs to kick the cue ball to that first rail. You see a little shake of the head. Yeah, that was a little mistake from FSR.
Extension called.
Now he can still do the same shot, but he's got to manipulate the cue ball either with some draw, maybe probably more than likely a little bit of draw, maybe a little draw with a little left as well. But this type of kick shot is more of a roll your ball kick shot. And like I said, he's put the cue ball in a bad position for it. I think if he goes at that shot, just rolling it like he intended, he'll double kiss the 2 and give up a shot. Yeah, you see him cueing low. He's trying to bend it just a little bit. Oh, he caught the wrong side of it. So fortunate not to scratch there, Phil.
And he's left the cue ball awkwardly on that point.
Extension call.
You just got to pull the trigger here. I mean, you have it. You know, you get the cue ball by the 6. I think it does get by the 6. You get the cue ball to the top rail. You got a chance to get a safety if you hang the 2. No time to play safe.
It was just tentative, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he was shooting at it no matter what, but you know, sometimes you can over aim, right? you got to just trust what you see and pull the trigger a lot of times. Breach it to the guys that you put in the time to not have to worry.
We saw Kazakis in his chair there. He does really go through the emotional ringer when he's playing pool. And now he's in more than a spot of bother.
Yeah, he needs to elevate and hit down on this. A high ball, I'm not in love with at all. We see it bend so often. Nice shot there. Good contact on the 2. Got it to the back rail, so he's going to live to fight another day, that being Kazakis. I don't see anything offensive here. Looks like he's going to run the cue ball and split the 2 and the cue ball on both side rails. Okay, pretty good. Two different 2-rail escapes here that, again, a little preference. This is the most obvious one. The other one that I kind of like a little better, a little more options on getting safe, is going to the top rail than the left side rail than at the 2. Oh, that was beautiful there. Great speed.
And it seemed as though he played that with a little more freedom. Didn't take quite as much time on the shot. Didn't allow negativity to creep in. Identified what he needed to do, and he did it.
Yeah, I was going to say that FSR may entertain this bank here, kind of shove the cue ball at the 3 a little bit. He's a little jacked up, so the safety is kind of tough. All right, went for the 3 as well. And it was interesting to me, I kind of took a timeout earlier myself when FSR did in between games, and just happened to follow him and David out into the hallway, and there were a lot of words exchanged between the two. Oh, he lost the cue ball maybe as well.
Ball stroke.
But the shot clock, right?
Well, he hit that 100 miles an hour.
But he kind of got to the beeps again, which has happened quite often for him today, more than I remember. Okay, no real worries here. Maybe could have used a hair more angle, but he's okay. He'll stun to the rail with a little draw, come back for the 6 on the side. 7 fairly open. And anytime you see the pros, these top players not getting easy cue ball movement, that's when it tells you that, you know, they're not totally comfortable, not swinging at their best.
I think this match turned on a 7-ball. A much more difficult 7-ball than this from distance, that Sanchez Ruiz wobbled and it stayed on the table. At that point, he was seemingly full of confidence. It rattled him, and he's not been the same since.
Yeah, and that's exactly when that timeout was taken that I was talking about. And like I said, him and David had quite a few words, and just saying that from a player's perspective, I've had plenty of, you know, partners and friends in the same scenario. Just normally it's just a few words, you know, something simple, confident, whatever it may be, but they were getting into the game.
You could never say this has been especially impressive from Alexander Kazakis. But it's not how.
Alex Kazakis wins
It's
the rack.
how many. And right now, dramatic.
Yeah, you can see a bit of a wry smile there from Kazakis, and does have an offensive bank, but you don't think he's going to go at that. He's got so many options going up table with the cue ball. He can stay down table with the cue ball also. Well, I like the line on that 6, 8, and 9. You don't have to get up underneath the 6, but that would be kind of like a bonus. I like to play the 2 underneath the 9 and let the cue ball come a couple rails trying to get underneath. Did he get to the 7? Yeah, I don't. That path was great and all, but I really think the 6, 8, 9. Just look at the line of the 6, 8, 9. If you get anywhere on the left side of the table, somewhat where the 2's at now, it's almost guaranteed the snooker. And that's what you look for sometimes, especially crucial times where you have balls kind of toggled, even though they're not next to each other. They really give you a massive area to get the cue ball clean and in a good spot. Well, he's used this shot several times this match.
When I'm working with Jeremy Jones, I always add to my terminology, toggled. I like that one.
I don't even know if it's correct, but that's what we've always used, so I'm going with it.
Don't know where these terms come from in snooker. We sometimes call the jaws of the middle pocket the grunt of the pocket. Just don't know where they come from, but they're expressive and they add to the flavour, don't they?
Yes, Q Sports verbiage is some of the best. Like it better than the stuff the kids use today, even though that does entertain me as well. Okay, you'd like to come 2 rails off the bottom and let the cue ball go towards the 9 while the 2 goes up table. That would kind of be ideal. Like that. Maybe something lucky happens. Boy, and it's something special. It's just, you know, if you so many different ways to have the juniors here. They get to see the bright stars that they look on the internet and the TV, and they're all here in person. And you know, such a good group of players and people on the professional side. And going to see some names in here this week that we're going to see probably hoist this title one day, or trophy rather. He's got a couple options here. Probably just plays the 2 mildly across the table and tries to spin up. He's kind of queuing downward on this. So he really wants to get underneath that 5. Got a nice contact on the red 3 to hold the 2 ball. Get a better look in a moment. I don't think it's like straight in the cross-side bank, but it's not far off. He can't shoot at that. And he won't shoot at that. Again, the line on the 8-9's nice. 3-8-9, so he's going to play the 2 downward, come right at the 9 with the cue ball.
Sanchez Ruiz very much in tactical control in this rack, but we've seen it before where he's had the control and it's switched.
Yeah, normally you would kick 2 rails at this ball, but if you're comfortable, 1 rail's the real play. Got a lot of ways you can get a snooker like this. Another beauty from Alex. I think the shot clock kind of helped him there. Didn't have time to really dissect the shot, just had to go with his gut, and it was right on. What a shot there. I think he may have given up the cut, though.
Yes, body language, it screams that he has.
And it's hard to tell how thin this is without being at the table, but it appears to me what looks natural and comfortable here is to come down and play the 3 in the side. The 4 has both the corner pockets, so any angle on the 3 or straight in is just fine. Oh man, that's a big mistake catching that ball that thick. And that has everything to do with the timing of the swing. When you overhit the ball, it kind of bounces off the object ball a little more, right? A little more ricochet effect, and man, he put the pressure on himself here, Phil.
I don't fancy him to pot it, gotta be honest. Not in the slightest. He moves on shots, he can't help himself. Involuntary movement. I never thought he would knock that in.
Yeah, and the thing is, with Alex, it seems at times when he makes that, you know, mistake on the easier play to get into a medium tough shot, you know, it looks like a Rubik's Cube almost to him. Good call there, Phil, even though I know you didn't want to see that happen. It's just the feeling you got, and it was dead on.
Well, it was a goal based on plenty of previous past evidence. And shots like that can turn matches.
Yeah, probably got a little thinner here than he wanted. He may go by the 8 and play the 8 in the same corner as the 7. We'll see. I like that a little better than elevating here. Oh, he could kill the cue ball. So now he gained a nice angle just to work the rock to the top rail and back down.
Sanchez Ruiz.
Would you believe, for the 5th time in the match, these two poor gladiators are all square. It is 8-8. Remember, the target is 10. This is crunch time. Looks stern, looks very unhappy. The 3, yes, it was a high tariff shot under pressure, but he got nowhere near the jaws even.
Yeah, and that's not from aiming. That's just from, you know, again, the swing isn't agreeing with him at times, and you know, like we saw with Ruiz, with the shoulder got involved. Same thing there on that 3 ball for Alex. Now against SBB and some other matches, you know,
Rack
Few
70.
shots he'd like to have back, but he still closed the
Francisco
door.
Sanchez
We'll
Ruiz
see if he
break.
gets the opportunity.
8 racks.
That's the real key here.
Law of averages suggests we are due a break and run out. FSR would love to think one will come his way right now.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I mean, they don't always get shots, but they broke the ball so well collectively that, oh, the two's going to be open now. It's just a matter of what kind of shot it is. Looks like he's straightish. Oh, he might be able to cut that in the side maybe, but is he going into the 7 and 8? So he may take this on the corner, take a little more cut on the 3. That gets you across for the 4 anyways. Oof. And now he's a little odd here as well. This is similar to a shot that Filler had yesterday where he just crept the cue ball 2 rails towards like the head string and took a little more distance.
Extension.
This
call.
one has a little more angle. FSR usually likes to stun off of this ball 1 rail across. They're both touchy. Going forward with inside English, a little left spin. It's not great. The stun's a little funny as well. And the reason why the stun is funny is you could come back not only near that left side pocket or on top of the 4. Perfect speed.
He's playing like a player with a second wind. Renewed zest.
Okay, you can kill this with inside. You can come above the 9 if he's a little worried about the speed control.
Kazakis in his chair, head in hands, or hand.
He caught the 8 going by. Wow, I don't think that was expected. Yeah, and all that means something to me as far as, you know, I like the guy that sits there, you know, ready to pounce. Don't worry about the negative stuff. Don't always get a chance, but if you do, you have to be ready.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
An opportune moment to break and run out. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz in front for the first time since 5-4. And he's not only in front, he's on the hill.
Break, leading 9 racks to 8.
Added pressure, those rankings. If ever he needed any more pressure, at least he's got that Mosconi Cup debut in his back pocket. The one's in, the two's in. The big question, Jeremy, what about the three? Is it playing ball?
Yeah, I think it goes. It may not have an entire pocket, but just from his body language and expression, I think it is playable.
Extension called.
Extra composure time, this.
Yeah, and the overhead tells me he's got a full pocket. A little awkward. He doesn't want to pull the ball 2 rails with the 6 there. He may come up for the side. I kind of think it's a high English shot. No, he's going to come 2 rails. So he's coming for the side, so he needs that to slow down a little bit. It's going to get a little past the side, a little over the 5 as well. The good thing is, doesn't need much draw on the ball. Just got to move it over a little bit for a little angle on the 5.
Remember, he's come through 2 hill-hill battles already here. There's another tight and tense encounter. Ooh, but this is all good cueing over the 8 ball.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see how much he tries to get out of this. I think he can cue the left side pretty decent, so yeah, he's gonna attack here, get close to this 6.
And now Alexander Kazakis will be entitled to fear the worst.
And he's so good on this 6 ball, he probably rolls forward. If he's a little further away, he probably draws back above. But when you're so nice on this ball, just a little light stroke.
It was all about that missed 3 ball with the cue ball tucked under the side cushion. Kazakis just couldn't hold his nerve. It's simple as that. Hasn't had another shot since.
Yeah, that 3 ball definitely was missable, but the 2 ball prior, really where he hit it really thick to the pocket, a little jumpy with the stroke. Caught that ball coming out, made the 3 so tough, and it's been all Espanol ever since.
Hear the cheer when this goes in from this packed crowd.
Sanchez Ruiz wins back and match.
It was quite a battle, wasn't it? Alexander Kazakis contributed, but Sanchez Ruiz is victorious. Here, FSR A-OK in the USA.